Welcome back to Full Speed Racing, where we've moved to Snetterton, an action from the Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championship in association with QuickFit. Big championship name, big grid, and it's headed by Stuart Waite on pole position from Mike Tovey. And we've got Matt Parks and Liam Crilly on the second row of the grid from Harry Goodman and Miles Howard, as we're just about ready for the off here on the Cessna 300 circuit, and away we go. It's a good start from last year's championship runner-up, the purple car of Mike Tovey, as they sprint off down the centre straight for the first time into Riches. It's the white car though, Stuart Waite to the inside line into Riches, who's going to try and challenge for the lead. The midfield all cleanly through, which is the most important thing as they head out of Riches on towards the Montreal hairpin for the first time of asking, where it is Tovey who jumps into the advantage. Waite in second, Liam Crilly, the red and white car, in third, trying to squeeze his way through. Then it's Matt Parks, your white car, 138, in fourth as they turn into left-hander at Palmer. Harry Goodman then currently completes the top five, and the cars so evenly matched in this championship, we can expect to see some fairly frenetic and close racing unfolding over the next few minutes. Back end of the field, successfully negotiate Palmer. It's Charlie Brisker who completes the pack, who's already the leaders, turning through Hamilton with Waite and Crilly running as close as you like. Turning into Oggies. It's Mike Tovey though who leads the way and just beginning to build a very slight buffer at the moment over Stuart Waite. Out of Williams and on to the Bentley straight for the first time of asking, and the drivers can take advantage of the slight slipstream that's offered up by these BMW 320i's, which is comprises the majority of the field. There's one or two 318s as well that can be found lurking. There's Tovey who leads the way, the Bristolian, who turns into Brundle and Nelson. Corners formerly known as the S's before they sprint on towards the bomb hole, and Tovey's advantage that looked to be reasonably healthy going to Bentley straight is now being whittled away to pretty much absolutely nothing by a hard charging Stuart Waite. Then that slight deficit to Liam Crilly. He's got Matt Parks asking all sorts of questions. Then the gap to Harry Goodman and car 145. That's Matt Swaffer who's next along as they turn through Coram, which then tightens into the left-hand flick of Murray's and on to the centre straight through to complete the first lap of the race here. And Tovey just runs wide, kicks up a little bit of the dust on the extra Murray's. Is that going to slow him on the centre straight, possibly open things up to Stuart Waite? Well, it doesn't really. Car length or so's advantage for Mike Tovey as they sprint over the start and finish line, complete the lap, and once more set themselves up for riches. Tovey turns in. Waite follows pretty much almost inch perfectly in his wheel tracks, and then it is Crilly and Parks who looks to find his way through. Crilly though covers the inside line as they turn through Montreal. Liam Crilly looking to dive through on Stuart Waite, trying to force himself up the order, and Liam Crilly might take the lead here because Tovey was slowed on the exit, and it's Liam Crilly who dives in to lead the race as they arrive into Palmer. Stuart Waite goes second, and Mike Tovey's going to do well to maintain third. She's able to do. Covers the inside line through Palmer, but he's got Matt Parks looming very large in his tail as well. So frustrating here for Mike Tovey, who last year had such a good duel with Ben Winrow for the championship lead. He doesn't really want to be losing out to the likes of Liam Crilly and Stuart Waite, but for now he's having to content himself somewhat frustratedly with third. You can see that Tovey is just beginning to miss some of the apex. He's maybe pushing a little bit too hard in these early stages. That's what's cost him the lead of the race to Crilly and Waite. Tovey then in third, the purple car. Work to do to consolidate, well, as ever in the Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championship, battling to be found throughout the pack. Crilly turns into Brundle, leads the way, and it really is now a leading quintet all the way back to the art car of Harry Goodman, and he's got Matt Swaffer not too far back, and then we've also got Miles Howard as well. That's the bright orange machine through the bomb hole. One of the very few corners didn't change in the 2011 redesign of the Snetterton circuit. Still remains a challenge to the drivers. The bomb hole Coram though has become a much sterner test, many would say. It used to be pretty much a flat out corner. Drivers didn't need to think about too much, particularly in the drive, but now, because of the way it tightens, you have to go in very quickly and then make sure that you scrub the speed off appropriately as you work through the turn, and that is what Crilly's been able to do further back. It's Kevin O'Brien who's the head of that little gaggle of cars. They all, after a fashion, find their way through Murray's. It's Rob Cooper who's next along, and then Andy McGregor. Good battle between Matt Swaffer and Miles Howard coming together. Howard always to be found within the top 10, as is the man pursuing him, Alan Warman. As Stuart Wait looks to challenge for the lead on the brakes into Montreal and locks up those Marangonis, runs out a little bit wide, seesaws at the wheel, looks to come back towards Liam Crilly. But Crilly, some moments, respite as Mike Tovey has dropped further down through the order, so out of our sight. Mike Tovey's encountered more problems. A very, very disappointing race this for Mike Tovey, having led in the early stages. As there is Stephen Murphy turning into Riches, and turning out of Riches the wrong way. Kevin Hodgin, around he goes. So a big spin for Hodgin. He will look to rejoin. He was towards the tail of the field anyway, but he's now right at the back as it's side by side for lead, and it's Stuart Wait looking to challenge Liam Crilly for the advantage. And it's Wait who may just be able to dive through here into Brundle. Crilly tries to fight back as they turn into Brundle, and then the flick out of Nelson. So camera pans across it. It's Stuart Wait who's got the advantage. So Stuart Wait leads the way. The rest of the field all jostling for position behind is Jack Gabriel now in the sky blue car. The body tone car has come back into the mix. He's found a way past Al Warman. He's looking to do much the same as well to Miles Howard around Coram, and then out of Murray's, and Stuart Wait moving clear here of Liam Crilly. Crilly though has got Parks in pursuit, looking to use whatever slipstream he can find from Harry Goodman, Mike Tovey and the rest of them. So over the line, another lap reeled off from Stuart Wait. Now will he be able to hold it all the way through to the checkered flag? We're just about over half race distance, and as you can see, this leading group still very, very tightly bunched. And this is the kind of racing that Snetterton 300 circuit lends itself absolutely perfectly to, which is where you've got the championship regulations very, very tightly controlled. There's really no mechanical advantage to be gained. It all comes down to driver ability, and then just those little tweaks that you can find in getting the car as perfectly set up as you want. Good scrap a little bit lower down the field. Stephen Carter just clear of Ian Francis. Andy McGregor, number 8, the white car, still very much part of that group as well. So there's Carter, head of the train, then Francis, Andy McGregor. McGregor arguably looking the most feisty of that lot as he tries to pick his way past Francis, draws alongside him into Palmer, but it's Ian Francis who's got the inside line for the left-hander, should hold the place as Harry Goodman and Mike Tovey do battle this for 4th and 5th position. And Harry Goodman, arguably the most improved driver in the Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championship last year. He moved from somebody who was a little bit erratic but top 10 pace to a regular competitor and challenger for podium positions, and that's how it's continued into the 2013 season. Ian Francis under pressure, gets sideways at Hamilton, off he goes. So Ian Francis under pressure from Kevin O'Brien, losing the car and spinning himself down the order. Harry Goodman under pressure from Mike Tovey, just beginning to come back towards the leading trio as well. It's Matt Parks who's his next target. There's Parks, only 3 or 4 car lengths up the road, and then Liam Crilly and the race leader Stuart Wait very much within his sights. That said, Mike Tovey might just fancy he can get himself towards the podium here. Not too long remaining in the race, maybe another lap or so, but that might just be enough for Mike Tovey. He can find a way past Harry Goodman. As more dramas, this time Charlie Brisker having the spin at the bomb hole. Again, looking for first gear as Liam Crilly now building up the pressure on Stuart Wait. Through Hamilton they come, both of them out over the curbs. Shows how hard they're pushing. Through Oggies, a little bit sideways from Stuart Wait, getting the power down as early as he dares. He then covers the inside line for Williams, but that could give Liam Crilly the advantage down the Bentley straight, the longest straight on the Snetterton 300 circuit, and the best opportunity to take advantage of the slipstream. And then we've got Parks under pressure for 3rd from Harry Goodman and Liam Crilly. If anything's been caught by Matt Parks, so Stuart Wait leads through Brundle and Nelson, and Liam Crilly is going to have his work without holding second. He just does so with Matt Parks in pursuit. Harry Goodman and Mike Tovey all swarming in pursuit as they do battle for the final 2 podium positions. We're only a couple of corners from home now as they head out of the bomb hole into Coram. It's looking very, very good for Stuart Waite. For everybody else, the podium is up in the air. It's currently second place in favour of Liam Crilly, third place for Matt Parks. On the brakes, around Murray's Toby challenging for the final time onto two wheels. He can't find a way past Harry Goodman, so as they sprint along the centre straight towards the checkered flag, it is going to be victory in the Marangoni Tyres Production BMW Championship for Stuart Waite. Second place for Liam Crilly and a hard-fought third for Matt Parks. Fourth goes the way of Harry Goodman, and Mike Tovey completes the top five. Super racing. Have a look then at the final results with the victory for Waite from Crilly, Parks, Goodman and Tovey. Jack Gabriel in sixth from Alan Wildman, Miles Howard, Matt Swaffer and Ian Jones rounding out the top 10. That's it for this week's Full Speed Racing. Join us at the same time next week for more action.